we live in Ohio now, so can't really get ocean fresh produce very much. But on Twitter, Canned Meats One reviewed the Roland whole baby conchs and said that they were very good. So we're looking forward to trying out the recipe. Before anything else, I'm going to go over to the oven and start heating up the oil for frying over medium-high heat on the burner. Set there. I'm checking on it in a bit. We use a candy thermometer to check the temperature of the oil. Candy thermometers are super useful because they can go up to much higher temperatures than standard thermometers. So the things you'll need for the island-style conch fritters, let's see here. Conch. It calls for half a Scotch bonnet or habanero. Those are too spicy for us, so we're using a bit of jalapeno, we think. We got something from our CSA a while back that was just spicy peppers, and they think it's jalapeno. So, here's hoping. You'll also need half of a green or yellow bell pepper and half of a red bell pepper, half a cup of onion, 2 large eggs, some thyme. We don't have fresh thyme because it's not that time of year. Flour, baking powder, curry, salt, black pepper, club soda, and beer. And for this, we'll actually be using Red Stripe. It's beer.
It's good.
Yeah. So, I'm going to start by cutting up the onion.
Which means I'm going to walk out of this room.
Yes. Jessie doesn't do the best with onions. Even the sweet onions like this. I'll talk more once I get the skin off of this thing. This one's taking more effort than they usually do. There it is. So how's your day going, Jessie?
Fine.
There we go. Stall for time. Seriously?
It's fine. You can peel it off once you've chopped it. It'll be much easier then.
Oh, there it goes. Now that I'm not over the trash can, it comes right off. Like magic. Whatever. So I'm going to be cutting up half a cup worth of onion. Okay, and that is visible. I like to use the Cutco Petite Santoku for all the smaller chopping, mincing, and dicing. Partly because I sell them, but mostly because it's a fantastic knife. This is a part on a fancy cooking show where they would show you a better way to mince an onion. Chef Ann would be yelling at me right now.
No, she wouldn't. You don't have your finger out on the knife. You have your fingers real close to the blade, so she'd be cringing, but you don't have your finger out.
That's true.
That's the thing she always marks people
I
out
meant
for.
more for like the fancy way you can cut an onion real fast thing.
Picking a particular side and leaving everything together. Yeah, we don't bother with that. Now you only need half a cup of that.
Yes. So I have done too much already. Pick out that piece. Half a cup. A little bit more.
That's fine. That's half a cup.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? While I've got this out, I'm going to brush up all of this real quick. I'm going to cut up just a tiny bit more onion for myself for later. make a fancy omelet later.
You should only need what's already on there for a fancy omelet.
No, I suppose you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, could you put these in something? My marvelous assistant. And by assistant I mean co-host. Okay. Going to want to mince half of each of these peppers. It's nice just having an unlimited supply of cutting boards.
$2.25.
Okay, well, we need up to we need a 350.
Yeah.
So if you want to just keep an eye on that, check it from time to time, that'd be great. So we should warn you, parts of this recipe are going to get loud. We're going to give you ample warning ahead of time to turn down your volume. This is our first time making this recipe, so I'm excited. We had planned to try it ahead of time, but one of the 2 conch packages we got from Amazon was severely dented when it arrived.
And you don't eat those.
And you don't eat those.
So is this thing going to be mainly pepper?
No. Okay. Well, it's going to be large. Do you want a bit less pepper in it?
Maybe don't do the full half of each pepper.
Maybe do, like, just one of these still?
Yeah.
Okay. Do 2/5 of a pepper? Readjusting the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You know what I'm going to do real quick? Cut up this pepper piece for myself for later. And go with the onion that I had cut up for a fancy omelet. Could you put that aside, or in with the omelet, or the onion pieces that I had cut? Okay, so for this one, I won't cut it fully in half. I'll just do like a third of the yellow one. There you go. Let you put those away in a minute. Oh, I should also mention, if you don't know what I meant by Chef Ann would yell at me, Worst Cooks in America is a very fun show to watch. And Chef Ann is one of the hosts of it.
340.
What was that?
340.
Okay, turn it down ever so slightly. Yeah. Because we can always bump it back up. Right before we put the fritters in. This way.
Mm-hmm.
One of these days I will figure out where my marks are.
Well, that changes based on where we put the camera.
So what you're saying is I will never learn.
Nope.
Well, as long as you said it and not me. Okay. Got our peppers. Got our onions. Now, if you wanted this to be smaller for the fritters, I could food process or hit this in the food processor as well.
I've never had these.
Okay.
And since you generally can't have crab cakes, I've had those very rarely too. And that's the only thing I can think of that's similar. So I really don't have any way to judge.
Okay. So the next step then is to deal with the conchs. This is where it's going to get loud in a moment, because I'm going to open the container and then drain them and then beat the hell out of them with a mallet. And then cut them into small pieces, put the small pieces into the food processor and pulse them a couple of times.
Because conchs are very...
Conchs are very, not squishy, tough, chewy.
Chewy, that's the word.
Chewy is the word you're looking for. So.
My brain, instead of a word, it went and did this. I'm like, that's not a word.
Let's see here. Drain these. So tiny. Yes, thank you.
As the snails in the tanks over there look at you going, Matt, how dare you? That's my cousin.
Okay. Now is the time where you may want to turn down the volume on your computer for a few minutes. I will give a thumbs up sign when it is okay to turn it back up. Whoops. Bounce. I actually... Yes. Hey! You're so smart.
Should you be using the spiked end or the...
Yes, specifically, and I'll say this again when I'm done hitting them, it specifically says to use the spiked end. That's a good idea. I will need it again in a moment. That'll help. So glad I've got this hammer. Aren't you glad you washed the counter? I'll have to wash it again after this. Okay, we are done hammering for the moment. I'm gonna rinse this off real quick.
They don't really look different.
They feel different.
Okay. So, specifically hit them with the spiked edges?
Yeah.
Several times.
Yep. Can I have the knife back? Thank you. They are definitely slightly more tender than they were.
Supposed to cut them into
1/4-inch pieces. So, like I'm doing is pretty good. And then I'm going to blend these with the pepper.
Well, pulse them a couple times first.
Yes,
and as many as it calls for, then add the pepper in and pulse.
Yep. The recipe calls for a celery stalk as well. I'm not the biggest fan of celery.
And we hate buying a whole bunch of stuff just for one piece.
Right? Yeah. Does Bella want dinner as well?
Maybe.
What's the oil temperature, by the way?
360.
Okay. Turn it
down
just a little more. Yep.
Alright, come here, Bella. I'll feed you.
She probably smells the conch.
Probably. Also, she probably just came down to investigate what the hell are you people doing down here?
Why are you hammering on things?
There you go. Eat your dinner. You really do have to think up something to
Talk about
while you're chopping.
So these are talk about the baby conchs. These guys are baby conchs. Actual conchs can get really big out in the world. These little guys grow into the thing that you think of when you think of someone blowing into a seashell as an instrument. And from what I understand, they are delicious. I have not had conch before myself. I have had abalone years ago.
From a farm that raises
Yes,
them so that you can eat them.
Yes. Farm-raised abalone.
Yeah. Very important distinction there.
Very important distinctions. And some of those are endangered species. You cannot take them out of the wild. Or at least they were back when I had them. Should look into
they
that.
Probably still are.
I feel like with a farming operation, they probably could have gotten them
back up to threatened.
Back up to threatened, yeah. Threatened with being eaten. Thank you. I'll be here all night because I have nowhere to go in the pandemic. Mincing these takes a bit of mental concentration as well. That's why I'm not talking the most. Okay. is minced. Wash off my hands real quick. Tried a little piece. Tastes like the ocean.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to eat those raw.
They're not raw. They're pasteurized and whatnot.
Alright. Anyway, how many?
Pulse it a bunch of times. It says to pulse quickly 10 to 15 times. So it's going to get a bit loud for a moment. I'll give it a... Okay, pepper goes in.
All of it?
Yep. There's a spoon I got earlier.
Now, this is not what they tell you to do.
No, but this is the way we are doing it.
Because we want smaller pieces of pepper.
Because, yes, we like...
That pepper. These are already tiny.
Oh, no, that pepper stays big.
Okay, I thought you meant that pepper.
No, this pepper gets minced in. Tinier.
Alright.
That's what I was asking earlier, if you wanted to pulse the other side.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Would you like me to pulse all that with it?
You're already too far, so...
Okay. It's too far gone. I could move this into a different container and pulse this separately. Okay. So. Okay. Make sure you want to get that for me. Thank you.
I'm better at this.
You're much better at that. So now that once that is all in there, we will add in 2 eggs along with the thyme. It calls for a teaspoon of fresh thyme, so we're going to give it just a sprinkling of dried thyme. Sprinkle. There we go. And then 2 large eggs. How's that doing? Still at 360. Perfect. Toss those in the sink. Did you know that eggshells are well, I should turn off that first. Do you know that eggshells are surprisingly nice for cleaning out sink garbage disposals? They actually work rather well. Let's see here. We want to mix this up thoroughly. Would you like to mix? So there's no flour. We're about to do that. Okay, good. In a separate bowl, whisk together the flour, baking powder, curry powder, salt, and pepper. So, let's see here. 1.5 cups of flour. Okay. 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Just a 1/4 over there as well. a teaspoon of curry powder. Okay. 3/4 teaspoon of salt. We can just do half a teaspoon of salt for us. Okay, and then 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Feel free to do a little less if you'd like. Okay, so we want to mix that together real good.
Does it say whisk?
It does say whisk together.
Okay. We have actual whisk.
We have several whisks now. It's whiskey business.
Doesn't really change color much.
No, it's not that much curry powder or anything that went into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the dry ingredients go into the wet ingredients, and then we will be add the beer and club soda and stir until combined and mixture is thick and unctuous. I think that is the first time I have seen the word unctuous outside of my high school reading class or high school English classes.
Do I mix this first and then we do that?
Yes, you mix it first. Whoosh. And it is 1/2 cup each of club soda and beer. So you have
It smells really like curry now.
the club soda has bubbles under it, under the lid. Okay. You might need the whisk again for that.
It says mix, not whisk.
Okay.
When it says mix, you probably don't want to whisk. What even does unctuous mean? It sounds like a bad smell, but I don't think that's what it means.
No, it's I don't know. It's been like 20 years since I last heard it.
I mean, it's goo. I wouldn't really describe it as that,
Having a greasy or soapy feel.
Suppose you can call that soapy.
Yeah, not a term generally used for food items. Yeah, this seems about right.
And the temperature is at 355, so we're perfect.
Okay, so I'm actually going to bump it up.
I just did.
Oh, you just bumped it up? Okay. Here. Let me grab out one of our racks and put on some of the good paper towels.
Yes.
So few of the good paper towels left. Okay. And then I am going to, let's see here, going to move the camera. Oops. Okay. Tilt that back down. And then turn this down. Oops. Oh no, webcam down almost. Okay, that's probably pretty good.
Okay. I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to see in the thing anyway. It's over there.
Okay, true. True, true. So, we are scooping this out by tablespoon. Oh, did you tap for me or something?
Going here.
There we go.
Going here. This is going down. There you
go. Okay. It should say how long to do these for.
7 fritters at a time, 4 to 5 minutes, turning occasionally until golden brown.
Okay. Oops. Yeah, we'll just call that good for now. So, 4 to 5 minutes. Okay. Should be able to use a fork to grab these ones out.
Slotted spoon or spider. Don't know what a spider is. I assume it's some sort of weird wire contraption for getting things out of oil, which, you know, we do have.
True. Okay, I need to bump the temperature up on these because they're down to 340.
Mm-hmm.
Maintaining oil temperature is always one of the most difficult parts about frying things. If you let it get too low, you actually end up with greasier food.
Mm-hmm. And if it's too hot, your outsides will burn and your insides will be raw.
Yup. It's a delicate dance.
That's why they invented those fancy fry-later machines, because it automatically readjusts. But we don't have one of those because that's silly. When you can just pay attention.
I don't remember where we put all the wine stopper things.
Right there. But you can't do that with the camera going.
Well,
They'll hit it.
You're right. I can't get to it.
Yeah.
Guess you'll just have to drink the beer.
You can also put them in the tiny mason jar.
You could.
That's why we have all the tiny mason jars.
You could. Okay. This batch is going to end up slightly greasy because
it got too low.
Got too low. Should have had it a bit higher to start with. But now we know. You know, knowing is half the battle. Show these off to the camera when they're done. They look fun.
Right.
Boom.
This will be for me.
There you go.
Because that's as much as I should have at the time.
Poor Jesse.
Yeah.
At least you can have carbonation.
Yep.
Sizzle, sizzles.
Red stripes taste different when they're warm. Actually, I like them better that way.
Okay.
That's weird.
Well.
Either that or I'm not remembering how they taste because I haven't had them in forever.
It has been about a decade since you last had a red stripe.
No, it hasn't.
It's been a while.
I think 5 or 6, not a decade.
Okay. I'm going to give these another moment.
Do you want the thingamajig, or do you want a slotted spoon?
I can just grab them by fork. Just fine. Although, yeah, thingamajig would be good. If you can get it out. I suppose if we have the tool,
use the tool.
Whatever it's called.
The oil catcher.
Except that's not right either.
I know.
I am looking forward to eating.
Me too.
Okay.
Yes, that's nice. They all come out at once.
Yep. I'll have to use the fork to bump them off so they don't roll all over the place. There we go. That looks nice though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh no. Fork down. Two, 3,
You're at 370, by the way.
4.
I'm turning this down.
Yeah, that's fine. Oop. Okay. So is the other.
You can probably do more than that at a time in this.
I'd rather do just a couple at a time so that we can maintain the temperature.
Alright.
It's only gonna be like 2 or 3 more batches like that, and we can eat them as they cool. So.
Yeah. They seem done.
Yep.
You're right off frame, of course.
Well, that's hot, so there we go. Can it focus?
No.
No, too close. Oh well. Nice and colorful looking on the inside.
Are the onions at least cooked?
Slightly.
Slightly.
That is very good. Oops. A couple of these got stuck together. That's okay. They're still hot. Don't burn yourself. Whoosh.
Yeah, these peppers are still peppers.
Mm-hmm.
They're not cooked at all.
I think if we did this again, I would pulse the peppers as well. I see how it is. You stole my half a thing.
I don't really taste anything but peppers.
Really?
Yeah. There's like a tiny bit of fish aftertaste, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good thing you didn't use a whole half a pepper.
I know, right? Well, you know what? If we can always order another can and try this again a different way.
Yeah.
I think that I won't save this video since this didn't turn out best.
But if you like peppers, they're pepper fritters.
Okay.
They're just,
They're
I mean,
good.
they're called conch fritters, so you would expect them to taste like conch in the way that crab cakes taste like crab.
Mm-hmm.
But the conch in this recipe is very little of the actual volume,
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of makes sense. But if you like pepper fritters, this is great.
The other thing I would probably do is instead of the club soda, use the water from the conch can.
Good
with
point.
this. Yeah.
Although that's not going to be bubbly.
It has the beer still. You do bring up a good point, though. That might need the bubbles.
It might need the bubbles. No, I mean, they're fine fritters.
Yeah.
I just don't like onions and peppers enough.
Okay, well. We'll try this again and do some modifications to the recipe.
Mm-hmm. But it's still a perfectly valid video.
Yep.
Here's how to make fritters.
Here's how to make fritters. Onion and pepper fritters with conch.
Yeah.
As hand-to-mouth theater said, sometimes being a good cook is about being willing to eat a mistake. That wasn't a complete sentence.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Feel like I missed a word.
No, I don't think so. Well, as you said, at the very least, we made fritters. Mm-hmm.
We have not made fritters in this state.
Did we make fritters in Oregon? I don't remember doing
We
that.
made with kohlrabi.
Oh, yeah. Did we try those?
Yep.
Those were good.
Well, we can do them again sometime.
Next time we get kohlrabi.
So it'll just be one more batch after that.
Okay.
Well, that's about all there is to see, so I think I'm going to end the video there.
Well, you should tilt it down and show our lovely thingy full of
Yes. There we go.
fritters.
We can actually... Fritters. Well, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll be doing this recipe again at some point and getting it better. Oops. Sorry about the camera trying to move. Bye.